to Red Bull Wololo.
It all comes down to this, an HRE mirror on Danube River, the same civilizations, a pretty straightforward way of playing this matchup over here. It is going to come down to the execution of these players. Small details could snowball this game, small details could decide who gets the ticket first to Heidelberg, Germany.
And what we talked about in the pre-game is this whole idea that PuppyPaw does like to be a more aggressive style of HRE player. Like, yes, he'll play defensive, make his way up standard as you do to get your Red Bull Cathedral, but when he arrives, he's more often going for the more aggressively postured relics as well as trying to find a way to dive into your base. That's why this is a good generation for VortiX. He got the defensive positioning in the corner, much harder to reach in and exploit your opponent. Remember when we saw that game between Kazva and PuppyPaw yesterday? Kazva had the center spawn. So there was more opportunities to utilize the center island as well as come around left flank to hit your opponent's base.
Indeed, spawn-wise, we also do have to highlight that VortiX has the town center, the gold mine, and of course the forest as well on the same screen. So he's got a very optimal Arcane Chapel placement as compared to PuppyPaw's base, who will not be able to include the gold mine. To the benefit of PuppyPaw though, he is going to have a relic back behind his base, which is the only safe relic that is available on the map.
There is a possible way that PuppyPaw can make this work really well with the Arcane Chapel. Between the gold and the wood, and if he chooses he needs deer, he could actually push the deer towards the Arcane Chapel. We've seen, I think it was actually Wham led the way with this recently, and a lot more players have been optimizing it. PuppyPaw, one of them. So it is a play if he gets blocked off the dock in some way, but I don't expect any sort of cheeky dock block plays. I'm not expecting any outposts to be rushed up, and I'm not expecting any aggressive docks out of these two civs.
Speaking of docks, VortiX is going to play without a dock over here, which is something that you can contemplate doing in this mirror. The trade-off that you're taking over here is that the player going for the dock will delay his feudal age, but castle age timing could be benefiting from the fishing eco, but more importantly, imperial age timing could benefit a lot. But here is where it gets powerful for VortiX. He can possibly rush castle a little sooner than PuppyPaw, and as you said, it's about who gets the head start when it comes to pumping out knights and when it comes to contesting those relics. And VortiX, without going for a dock, he might have the advantage in that department.
This also keeps another option on the table. Usually when you don't go like on docks, Burgrave is still a potential option here. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get it in an HRE mirror. I think it's very difficult. The window is very thin. But if you are going to go Burgrave, you always ignore dock because it delays your feudal too long and you need the quickest castle age possible to zerg your opponent with man-at-arms.
Like, essentially, you have to deny 4 out of the 5 relics if you want to go for a Burgrave Palace. Otherwise, you will fall behind in gold gathered from the passive gold income of relics. But yeah, I agree with you. Burgrave, high risk, high reward style play over here. Not sure if VortiX is going to take risks over here in game number 7, though, and decide by this.
It's high risk, high reward logic, right? Like, you know, you wouldn't expect this if you were on the other side. Like, it's match point for both of you. This isn't like when your opponent is 3 games up and they just do something cheesy to throw away. And if it works, great. We're done in 50 minutes. If it doesn't, go next. Like, this is the situation where doing something unorthodox that is out of the consistent build order that we see in mirrors like this could completely confuse your opponent. It completely blows their mind because they might know what you're doing, but it's very hard to calibrate and adjust that on the fly when there's so much on the line.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The added pressure of this game is just so massive and something that could impact the way that these players play it. This is essentially one game for a ticket to Heidelberg, and we've talked about this one at the beginning of the set. The value that you get for winning this game is immense. You're going to have your hotel, your food, your flight covered in Heidelberg, as well as you're going to get a share of $300,000 prize pool. The overall value that you get for a win in this game is probably beyond $20,000 by itself.
Yeah, it's worth at least 28 times what Beastie made this weekend in that free-for-all. That is how important it can be. That's how big it can be. And this is kind of life-changing. Like, if you think you're at least going to get maybe $20,000 for making it there, as we're not quite sure the rough like numbers given, but that's a rough estimate. Let's say you get $20,000 or at least $15,000. Like, you know, as an aspiring pro player, that can be enough in some countries to float you. That can be enough to get you by for another year of competitive grinding, even if you get there and flunk out straight away.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, that is full-time salary in some countries. In fact, in some countries, full-time salary is less than that. And that is actually something that could possibly help these players focus indeed full-time on Age of Empires 4. I think VortiX is full-time by default, but for PuppyPaw, that could be a make or break, because he is not a full-time player of Age of Empires 4 right now, and he could turn himself into one if he gets a ticket to Heidelberg.
I've always been wondering that with VortiX, if he is like completely full-time or not right now, because like, he used to be a programmer, right? Or am I thinking
Yeah.
Lucifron? I might be thinking Lucifron. But like that's something I haven't been able to gauge. I'd love to like ask him that, because it's very hard to find data on him. Like him and Lucifron, they have a lot of Smurfs very clearly, and you rarely ever see them on their main accounts.
Exactly, it's hard to tell how much he actually plays the game. It's possible he grinds 15 hours a single day, we just don't know about it because he does on a completely unmarked account against Lucifron. Because keep in mind that playing the game doesn't just mean he's grinding the ladder, it's possible he's spending most of his time scrimming, or even just reviewing his own games. That's also time spent practicing the game and prepping for tourneys.
Yeah, and of course, he doesn't stream. Like, I think at one stage he started to stream and they just stopped. So you haven't even got that as a metric. It's very difficult to get this information on these players. Which is why it's always refreshing to at least see them making it deep in these tournaments so we can get plenty of games and plenty of previews. Because to me, like, this feels like kind of a more old style of Age of Empires 4 versus a new one for the most. Like, before this, I think that was the talking point. Like, PuppyPaw has kind of been innovating and blasting through at the moment with the current meta. VortiX, strong and stable with what I'd say is like a more traditional approach to Age of Empires 4.
Which is interesting because for a long time, VortiX was one of the most creative players and one of the biggest innovators of the entire game. But he has settled down to a meta that he likes, he has settled down to a playstyle that he likes, and as you said, now PuppyPaw is the one who deviates more and more from that meta.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to think about. Like, VortiX brought us some cheeky builds in the past. He even engaged with a lot of them. I remember in Golden League, especially with the ball rush meta coming out for the Roos. Like, he was one of the first players to get bullied by it on the rank ladders, and then he was one of the players to take it and, like, evolve it himself. So, curious to see if he's got some of that Burgrave pass we talked about in mind. He's already ready for his tech up. He did go for the Regnits, though, so he's going to be playing it safe, but with very quick timing. And if you look, you can see that PuppyPaw is nowhere near ready with Fudiko to get up as well.
Swift timing out here, but we also have Horsemen out on the battlefield, and this is a concern for VortiX. Because one thing that VortiX doesn't have is army here. He rushed Castle Age so much that he doesn't have an army, and he's gonna be denied of possibly all relics over here. PuppyPaw voling these in as the south, and now PuppyPaw could contemplate the Burgrave. Because think about it this way. He could deny all relics here.
Oh. Well, luckily the Wolf is going to be able to help that relic
Villager. That's a very long Wololo. Surprisingly
right, like,
long Wololo.
They feel long in those situations when you think something's going to happen. you know that kind of moment of suspense, like, are we done yet? We can kind of see this isn't going to happen, but my brain keeps thinking it is. And it looks like it's not. It's actually going to be on the bridge here, and more wolves going up. So yeah, PuppyPaw is going to block them all up. Cool play he could do here, that Burgrave you mentioned. If he does do it, I want to see him move out with a prelate and set up outposts on each of these relics and just insta-bank them for the goal.
Yeah, he has villagers close to those, so it's a legit possibility to start doing that already. And we've talked about PuppyPaw deviating from the meta. That's exactly what he's doing. He's not rushing Castle Age. You see, he's still in feudal. It's a full feudal, and that is partially fueled by the fishing eco he has. He has the fishing eco to fuel the flood of spearmen and horsemen, and this allows him to vol in those relics, delay his Castle Age, yet still not miss out on those relics.
And this is what I was talking about, the whole idea of like different styles matching up, like the new style versus the old meta. What VortiX is doing is very much an old style meta. Like, you're looking for a quick tech up. And actually, in a lot of ways, Kaz had done this exact same thing yesterday. And what PuppyPaw is doing, he's playing the punishment style. If you think about what the meta is evolving into, we're seeing a lot more occurrences where someone watches someone tech up and then they punish them. And it is, you would have been a genius if you went for it, but no, it's going to be the Regnants because in this situation, he'll still be ahead. Although the Knight is a problem that he needs to address and should be addressing, considering he has an ability to build Rax units.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that he should address. To my defense with the Burgrave, I only saw a fraction of the icon at the top. As you see, our overlay is covering some of it. And it suspiciously looked like a Burgrave to me.
We've got to keep it suspense going, right? We've got to keep you wondering in this situation. Nice little dive to get rid of one of the Knights. And he's just being tempo aggressor, right? Like, this is the whole point. Like, VortiX invested 1,800 resources in a tech up. could have been invested in units. And PuppyPaw is proving the strength for that. The reason it works out for him is because you mentioned those fishing boats. Like, his economy is gradually going to be strong enough and scale better at this point in the game to be able to afford his tech up and still field these units.
And it also means that he can afford to lose 1 or 2 villagers back at home, unlike VortiX. And one thing that PuppyPaw has spotted is that VortiX is struggling for food because he doesn't have fishing eco, so he has to go for those berries, something that PuppyPaw can actively deny.
And the funny part is that PuppyPaw is gradually like getting the eco loss of villages there back by the fact that VortiX keeps building prelates and keeps losing them or just idling them, and they're not even actually back at base buffing everyone up. 2 more going down. The
and also the knights.
Quick enough.
Very pricey knights getting killed by spearmen beforehand.
Yeah, so he lets that prelate live. You know, you gotta let one live to tell the story of what happened here, because what's gonna be happening here very quickly is PuppyPaw is gonna yoink 4 relics. He has 4 prelates built. He could easily move out and grab these, and they're pretty much freebie right now because he wolved them in.
And keep in mind, VortiX has 1 knight to work with, and he can't even send that knight out because the moment he does that, his berry villagers will be exposed. And farms at 11 minutes with HRE is not something that you want to see. Neither do you want to see an empty Ragnitz Cathedral. In the game that matters the most for PuppyPaw, he's in a commanding position.
It's a good thing that he built a cathedral, because he needs to walk inside, head up to the statue of Jesus, get down on his knees, and beg for divine intervention right now. Because PuppyPaw is giving nothing for free here. Comes out with 3 knights, only a few spearmen here, but if the horsemen tank the shots, the spears can still trade pretty well.
Yeah, if you can brace against this, no brace coming up just yet. No brace at all, actually.
Just rotate past, though. Yeah, he already knows. Like, PuppyPaw is like, wait, that prelate never got healed. Get back here, you little rascal.
Yeah, there's so much that you can do here. You're going to get rid of the spearman, but it doesn't matter if you can't pick up the relic. And we talked about this as well. It's not just the fact of you securing a relic. It's also when you secure that relic. Every single minute you get delayed is 300 gold down the drain.
And more spears coming out. He's matching the aggression quite correctly here, and the prelate will sneak through, but 1 horseman's still alive. If he plays around the stealth forest, he can really be a cheeky git about this. Spears starting to get those good trades, and it looks like 4 relics is feasible. PuppyPaw already 2 banked, and now 2 more on the way back home. So VortiX could not achieve full value anymore from his records.
I mean, given the circumstances, this is still amazing, and PuppyPaw has a knight. If he gets a good charge in, he can get the kill, and once again delay that relic. He's going for it.
Whoops.
Yoink.
Old man trip. Spear still getting some good value here. Trade out will work for VortiX in the end, but not overall. Like, that delay, you have to spend another 20 seconds building a prelate and also delaying another villager from being built. You pay 100 gold for that privilege, and then you still have to walk out here and pick it up. All in the meantime, PuppyPaw, what? VortiX didn't know us.
Yoink. Oh. He just runs past.
Oh,
Many of those knights are damaged, by the way. Ooh, it's even bigger. He didn't notice the knight camping down. No, VortiX.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't see it. He walked past it. He literally walked past it. So now when he comes out here, he's going to be scratching his noggin because he's about to lose another prelate.
Define pain in 1 image. I would use this image. At least he's going to spot the knight over there. He spotted it.
But it's the other knight to spot him. The other knight is intercepting right now. It's going to be tight. He might just dodge the vision.
Oh, I think he dodges it.
Like ships in the night. He's going offensive, though. VortiX's only option is to start sniping eco. He's so far behind now. This is looking grim.
Yeah, but there is a barracks already. Multiple stables being added as well. You even have the monks out there for a potential preemptive conversion. He can't even garrison them because there's nowhere to garrison them to. This is how many relics PuppyPaw has.
Yeah, PuppyPaw needs to get his hands on some wood and build into the monastery. He's going to go for the trade because, of course, he's got plenty of gold trickling in right now. And that relic... Oh, the HRE players right now are vomiting. This is not pretty. This is as bad as it gets when you play HRE mirrors.
It's sad. It's very, very sad. And you get the feeling that PuppyPaw is about to snipe another prelate over there. Indeed, it's gonna be tight. One more swing with the sword, and he's gonna get him.
How many prelates is that now? I've lost count. I feel desensitized towards death at this stage. How many prelates have given their life? This is actually starting to look like an accurate representation of religion in Crusader Wars, actually, if I think about it. No?
Oh, that is at least like the 4th prelate getting killed, and now the villager's heading towards the VortiX!
VortiX has children. I think he has children. If he doesn't, he's going to be too poor to be able to afford the childcare at this rate. He still can't get one relic. And PuppyPaw, okay, this time the villagers will be a good distraction because otherwise that would be the 6th, 7th. I don't even know how many.
There's a new knight coming.
I'm not good at counting.
There's a new knight crossing the river.
No. We'll look at this. This is a happy image.
No, we're going back.
No, there's 3 knights.
No! Oh,
Wait,
he's getting away. Knight's coming in. No way.
Yikes. And he has the count now. Look at the knight count here. He can't even
It's
guard
the snowball. 800 passive gold per minute versus 0 passive gold, and VortiX doesn't even have gold. 1 gold in the bank, and he's being cut off from the gold mine.
Yeah, and he's left 1 knight and a spear here to play with him while the rest of the knights get baited away. And that is not a friendly play partner. That is like having your 4-year-old play in the sandbox with a grizzly bear.
And that grizzly bear is ready to strike. Once again, a product is moving out.
PuppyPaw, no!
Knight! Oh, charge in! 1 swing! 2nd swing! 3rd swing!
I'm dead.
You know that meme that just says, stop it, it's already dead. That's what I have a feeling of right now. PuppyPaw is just toying around with VortiX here.
He's walling though. No.
Okay, you gotta look at the positives. It's getting closer. A new prelate just now popped out from the town center. Knights might actually come in. Don't tell me.
Yeah, no, he goes back. He's like, okay, so the prelate walks out. What a beautiful day. He looks out at the field and he just sees all his dead brothers in their robes. He's like, no, I don't think so. No!
Oh no!
He's gone again. He's blocked again. What is? He gets it.
It's a small step for the Holy Roman Empire, but a giant step for humanity, says that prelate. It's almost in the Ragnitz Cathedral now. We can be almost certain that prelate number 27 will finally drop off the relic in the Ragnitz Cathedral. How much time will it take for that relic to pay for all the prelates that have given their lives for this noble cause?
I feel like I'm playing Destroy All Humans. My main character doesn't have a name, he just has a changing number at this stage. Finally, the protagonist succeeds. But he will only have 1 relic and is now miles behind. PuppyPaw has transitioned, not just knights that now outmass VortiX, but man-at-arms and lance are coming to cut you off.
But it's the knights that are coming in to cut people off over here. Remember, there is no Pass of Swabia just yet for either of these players, so villager losses, those are still impactful, and VortiX is very far away from Imperial to get the Pass of Swabia going to recuperate those losses.
It doesn't matter when pellets die. I'm numb to this now. He done his job. There was no job left for him.
Yeah, there was no job. Thank God. Like, honestly, VortiX can be happy that PuppyPaw only left 1 relic for him. Imagine if there was a second one yet to be picked up for VortiX.
That one that was even further away, it felt like. Yeah, I already have become numb and stopped counting. At that stage, I'd feel like I'd have enough time to rewind the cast, count, and come back to you live before he would have even picked up the relic.
Now, truth be told, at least the worker count is relatively even over here, so VortiX technically villagers are being slain somewhere. Where are those villagers dying? Did you see the counter go down from like 45 to 31? But where are they? Who's dying?
Oh no! God, it's 1 Langstack!
The hero!
A smile on his face. I'm doing things. Yes, you
and
are.
And VortiX steps out.
He GG's. That is the final nail in the coffin, ladies and gentlemen. Your first player to qualify via the road to Red Bull Wololo. Give it up for PuppyPaw.
What a set! PuppyPaw looking like he was going to sweep this one, moving on to 3-0, then a comeback from VortiX. We move into Danube River, 3-3 is the scoreline with an HRA mirror, and PuppyPaw pulls a masterclass. His Knight Control and Relic Denial was just absolutely a masterpiece. and VortiX struggling to get those relics in, ultimately having his villagers getting slain, and the story ends here in the June finals of VortiX. He's gonna have to retry in a new month, whereas for PuppyPaw, he has gotten himself a ticket to Heidelberg. He will be there in Heidelberg Castle at Red Bull Wololo Legacy in October.
And he feels like a king in a castle right now. After the way this was swinging back, the pressure's mounting up. PuppyPaw refuses to crack and make sure that he smashes VortiX in this final game. This did not even look close, Lidakor. PuppyPaw pristine in the mirror matchup with the way he dictated relic control.
What a set from PuppyPaw, and he delivered his best game when he needed it the most. This might have been the cleanest game from him in the entire set, and it came just when he needed it. But folks, we're going to listen to PuppyPaw himself, we're going to hear his short thoughts on the games, and after that, we are not done for the day. This was only halftime, ladies and gentlemen, because we do have another Canadian ready to line up for a chance to get to Heidelberg himself. We're going to talk to PuppyPaw here in a matter of seconds, and then we're going to have Wham face off against the Mista. Let's hear the thoughts of Mr. PuppyPaw. Hello, hello.
PuppyPaw, first of all, congratulations, bud. You done it. You done it quickly. You are already now qualified for Red Bull Wololo, pipped to the post in Golden League, but you make it through as quickly as possible afterwards. How do you feel right now? This has to be such a relief.
Yeah, it's a huge relief. I'm so happy. Like making it out first just kind of takes a lot of the stress off. I was confident that I was going to qualify, but uh, you know, it's always good to qualify first. I don't have to worry in the coming months.
And speaking of that stress, like, did that start to sink in when you were a match point? Because this was looking like, judging by the first 3 games, I was like, this is possibly going to be the fastest grand final we're going to have. But then
Yeah,
VortiX swings back. Like, run me through that. Was there a lot flooding your mind? Was the pressure starting to add up, or did you feel like VortiX just upped his game?
I do think VortiX upped his game. Like in the first few games, he lost like a ton of villagers, like uh, kind of out of nowhere. He played really well in the last few games. I've never played Abbasid on Frisian marshes. Like I don't play English very much.
Mm.
Um, so I kind of had to improvise at the end there, just because you have to play every civ pretty much, other than the one they ban.
All right, and like another one that I'm thinking about, you just brought it up, the Abbasids, like that you said you don't pick it there at all. Was this because you knew there was a high likelihood it was going to come down to a 7th game, and you wanted to preserve the HRE where you thought it was strongest?
Yeah, I wanted to pick Aether into Nube. The reason I picked Abbasids on Frisian marshes though is because I wanted to play Abbasid into Mongols, because it's still a pretty good matchup for Abbasids, but I didn't play amazing in that game to take it anyway. So
For the first couple of games, it was very noticeable that you always pick the civilization that VortiX picked in the previous game. Was there any specific mindset behind that one, or is that just a complete coincidence?
it's just a coincidence, really.
I see. And like this went into 7 games. As you said, there were some civilizations that you were less comfortable playing with. Was attrition also a factor over here? Because most of the sets that we play in tournaments, these are not best of 7s or they don't go to 7 games. So you had to channel some civilizations that you don't normally use or don't use that commonly. But also, there is much more of an attrition factor than it is in a best of 5 or a best of 3. How big of a factor was attrition for you in this long best of 7?
Uh, I don't know. It's hard to say. I wouldn't say it's too much. Like usually, I've been playing best of sevens for a bit now, right? In Golden League and all that. I would say it's more just being unfamiliar with the maps and the civs, pretty much.
Last question from my end. We have another Canadian that happens to be your brother Wham coming up against the Mista. Any message that you want to send here on the broadcast to Wham as he's prepping for his battle against the Mista?
Well, I think he has a good shot of making it. Even if he doesn't, like the Mist has been performing pretty well, right? So
Mm.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Mista won as well. But I'm confident that even if he doesn't make it today, he'll make it. The next month.
I love that. I love that confidence. You believe you're going to be theirs, bros. Represent NA. They need that representation. You're
Yes.
definitely the ones on fire right now. Like, final thoughts from me. Like, Wham, to highlight a little bit, to hype it up, right? We just had the brotherly love element. Talking real stuff here, he's suffered a lot in the weeklies, but what we've seen here so far in the monthlies has been looking phenomenal. There was maybe questions about whether Wham's going to inform, but does this feel like the best iteration, the final form of Wham, the best you've seen him so far?
Yeah, he was super good yesterday. Like I have to say, he hasn't done too well in the weeklies. I don't think that's just because he just kind of caught off guard by some of the strategies, and maybe he didn't play well either. But um, yeah, he just like he 3-0'd Casper, who's been doing very well in the ladder. And obviously he 3-0'd Demusum.
Mhm.
Uh, you know,
Obviously.
what a kind of an odd series, but he still played very well in that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm hyped for it, dude. I like this would be an amazing storyline. Like, I love that you're just like so confident. Even if he doesn't make it here, I know he can make it. But I'm sure you're going to be there cheering him on the chat. We're going to let you go celebrate the win and look forward, start planning, plotting what you're going to be doing in Germany while we prep ourselves to see if we can strike 2 Canadians up on the board to make it in Heidelberg. Congratulations again, and I'm sure we'll catch up again with you very soon.
Yeah, thank you guys.